Greetings, my dear brothers and sisters. I have a very powerful word for you. The word is a violent storm will suddenly arise, but don't be afraid. The main important word is don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. In whatever you do, don't be afraid. Some of you are experiencing the storm right now. As I'm speaking, you are going through a storm that has wiped away things from you. Some of you have lost family through the storm. You have lost friends through the storm. You have lost your peace through the storm. Your property, your finances have been wiped away by the storm. Brothers and sisters, when you see this happening, don't panic. Don't be afraid. Trust in God, because God will restore you. Everything that you lost, you shall find. You shall find it. You know, God is with you in that storm. He has never left you. He is not far from you. Some people start shouting. Some people start weeping. They go into a pitiful state, into a sorry state, thinking that God has left them. God will never leave you. It is people that leave God. It is people that decide to leave God. We can see this example from the story of the prodigal son. That the son left the father. Remember, father means source, sustainer. Father, in that sense, meant the source. He left the source. He left the sustainer. So the son went off to a far distant place and spent his belongings, his money, so to say. Then he found himself in swine, in pigs. Now the scripture said that the son returned back to his mind. He came to his mind and decided to go back to his father. But his father was waiting for him. My brothers and sisters, the thing to get about that story is that God is always waiting for you. No matter how bad you have messed up with life, no matter how far you have fallen, God is still waiting for you. He has never left you, even in that storm. Wherever you find yourself, God has never left you. If you choose to believe in Him and return to Him, He's willing to embrace you. He's willing to bring you out of that storm. I want to read you a scripture that is going to bless you. It is from the book of Matthew, chapter 8, verse 23 to 27. Matthew, chapter 8, verse 23 to 27. And it reads, "When he got into the boat, his disciples followed him, and suddenly a violent storm arose on the sea, so that the boat was being covered by the waves. But Jesus was sleeping, and the disciples went and woke him, saying, 'Lord, save us, we are going to die.' He said to them, 'Why are you afraid, you men of little faith?' Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was at once a great and wonderful calm, a perfect peacefulness. The men wondered in amazement, saying, 'What kind of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him?'" Powerful words. My brothers and sisters, the disciples of Jesus got into a problem. It was a storm. The scripture says that when he got into the boat and his disciples followed him, they always followed Jesus because he was the leader. The disciples followed him. Who are you following? Who are you following? Now the scripture says, And suddenly a violent storm arose on the sea, so that the boat was being covered by the waves. Suddenly a violent storm. Brothers and sisters, some of you, suddenly a violent storm has risen up in your family. You don't know where it came from. You don't know how you got yourself into that thing, but a violent storm has risen. Some of it is in your companies, where you work. People are always angry at you. People are always blaming you. They are always pointing fingers at you. A violent storm has suddenly risen around you. Now the disciples realized that the master was sleeping, and they woke him up. They woke him up, saying, "Lord, save us." Imagine Jesus was sleeping in the storm. He was at peace because he knew the storm would do nothing. He was comfortable in the storm. He was not bothered by the storm. Brothers and sisters, don't be bothered by the storm. Just follow God and leave the rest to Him. Don't be caught up in who's saying what, who's abusing you, who's doing all sorts of funny words against you. Don't be caught up by that. Now the scripture says, the disciples said, "Lord, save us, we are going to die." He said to them, "Why are you afraid, you men of little faith?" Imagine, Jesus expected his disciples to have faith. To have faith in him, not in the storm. You see, when they woke him up, that's an indication that they had faith in the storm, not in Jesus. They would have just trusted Jesus, because Jesus was in the storm with them. My brothers and sisters, God is in the storm with you. He is there with you. He is there with you. He has not left you. And the scripture says, Jesus got up, he rebuked the winds and the sea, and there at once a great and wonderful calm, a perfect peacefulness. There was a great and wonderful calm, perfect peacefulness, because Jesus is peace. He is the Prince of Peace. Then the scripture says, the men wondered in amazement, saying, "What kind of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him?" What a powerful statement. Even the winds and the seas obey him. Brothers and sisters, this is the end of this word. I hope it has blessed you. I hope it has encouraged you. Until next time, shalom.